Worthy is the name of Jesus. So often we forget that. We take His name for granted. We take everything that He stands for granted. About 2 weeks ago, I stood up here and I went through the 10 Commandments with you. And I pointed out how we as a people and we as a church have blatantly disregarded those commandments. How we've ignored them and just completely let them go in some cases. I want to look back at those real quick. I want to go over them one more time. And I'm going to hit on another one today. Should not have any other God above me. Should not have any idols. Should not take the Lord's name in vain. Don't misuse my name. Keep the Sabbath day. Honor your father and mother. Do not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Don't steal. Don't bear false witness. Don't want your neighbor's stuff. And don't want your neighbor's wife. Those are pretty basic guidelines. And if you really look at them, they're pretty simple. They are. But I want to look today at the Sabbath day. The day of rest. It says God took a day of rest. He created, in 6 days, He created the heavens and the earth, all the animals, all the trees, all the plant life. Everything was created in 6 days. On the seventh day, He rested. But we don't take that serious at all. Like I said 2 weeks ago, we just don't have time for that, right? We don't know how to rest. We don't know how to take a break. We don't know how to stop. Now, when God handed down this list, these 10 commands, He handed it down to Moses. Moses stood to the Israelites, and he read it off, and they go, whoa, how do we do that? What does that mean? We didn't take a day of rest. So Moses goes back to God because, think about this. For 400 years, they were in slavery to the Egyptians. Morning, noon, and night, they would stomp mud and straw and make brick. They would do their craft all day long, every day. They didn't have rest. The only time they rested is when they slept. They worked every day. So this whole take a day of rest was new to them. Kind of like it is to us. We run constantly. They were slaves to the Egyptians, and they were slaves to their work. How many of us are slaves to our work? We don't rest. So when Moses went back to God, he says, okay, God, we don't really understand what this means. How do we rest? What do you want us to do? And he hands him down this list. He says, all right, you're not allowed to walk X number of steps a day. You're not allowed to do this today. You're not allowed to make your bed. You're not allowed to cook. Cook everything you're going to eat today to yesterday. Do all of this stuff the day before. I don't want you to do a thing. I want you to rest. Sounds pretty far out there, right? Don't do anything. I want you to rest. Don't make your bed. Why not make a bed? Why not cook a meal? Think about this for a second. I started taking Mondays off. It's a typical day. Most pastors will take a day off, and they will try to rest. And here's what happened. Very first time I did it, I sat, I drank my coffee, I turned on Netflix, and I sat in my chair all day long. I relaxed all day long. Just watching TV shows. That was good. That was good. Did it the next week. Same scenario. Sat in my chair all day long, my big red cup of coffee, and I didn't move all day unless I had to get up and go to the restroom. But I sat and just watched and vegged all day. Just enjoyed myself. Third week, Marcy comes home from work and looks at me and says, what'd you do today? Well, I was relaxing. The dishes are dirty. The house is a mess. What'd you do today? Well, I'm resting. And in my head, that started triggering. Well, okay, I guess I can do the dishes. Well, I started doing the dishes. Well, then I looked around. Oh, there's some dirty clothes over there on the floor. I started picking them up. Started doing laundry. Then I went downstairs. I'm like, oh, there's shoes all over the place. So I started moving shoes around. By the end of the day, I didn't rest. Because I did one thing that led to another, and another, and another. I sat and I started thinking, well, okay, well, what needs done tomorrow? Okay, nothing needs done. Monday's my day of rest. I don't answer the phone. Tuesday rolls around. Okay, I can take tomorrow off. Phone rings. Somebody needs prayers. And okay, well, now I'm back in gear. I'm going again. And now we're 6 months in and I haven't rested again. And I'm looking back at it, that's starting to make sense. Don't make your bed. Don't cook a meal. Don't do anything. That's why God limited it. It's kind of asinine to look back at it and say, well, that doesn't make sense. Why am I not allowed to take 15 steps a day or however many it is, because I can't remember off the top of my head. But it didn't make sense to me then. Now I'm looking at it and going, that makes total sense, because once you start, you can't stop. He knows the human condition. He knows our brains and how they work. Well, all I'm doing is moving this stack of dishes into the dishwasher. Oh, look, the counter's down there. You gotta wipe that off. You know what? I really don't want to eat what I made yesterday. I'm going to go down and look at the freezer. And now I'm cooking. Things that I enjoy doing, but I'm not resting. I'm not taking that Sabbath day seriously. Same as the Israelites weren't doing. That's why he laid down those rules. So they would understand, I want you to do nothing. To enjoy what I have given you. To enjoy the day. And in all that, I get run out. I get angry. I'm tired. Think about how people will say, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm tired. How many of us answer that way? Or, I need to take a break. Yeah, I'm guilty of that one too. But why are we tired? Because we're not resting. And if you're like me, your brain is constantly going. I lay down, I can be totally physically drained. I'll hit that pillow and my brain starts working, my eyes shoot open, and I'm going, no, I gotta stay in bed, I gotta stay in bed, I gotta stay. No, I gotta go do this. I can't even sleep because my mind won't stop. I can't rest. So, Jesus tells us in Matthew 11, verses 28 through 30, he says, come to me, all who are weak and weary, and carry a heavy burden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. And for a long time, I looked at that scripture and I'm like, okay, come to Christ, come to Jesus, and He'll give us rest. He'll give us peace. I thought I understood that. But in everything that I just described, on how my rest goes, how my mind works, I go to Christ and I'm like, okay, what do I do? Stop doing it. Just rest. But I got to do something. Stop moving. Sit. Relax. But my phone rang. Somebody sent me a text. Stop moving. Like I said, Marcy and I, for most of you know this, we've been together 20 years on Tuesday. It'll be our 20-year anniversary on Tuesday. Been married for 14. We've been dating since 20 years on Tuesday. So, in 20 years, we have never had a vacation. We didn't have a honeymoon, never had a vacation. We've gone on trips, we've visited. It's never been a vacation. Last year we went down to DC, and yeah, that was an enjoyable experience, but I didn't rest. I felt like I was constantly moving. We took our kids to Disney, and anyone that's taken their kids to Disney, no, that's not a vacation, that is work. 110% work. No, go over there. Don't touch that. Especially when you're in the glass shops, you know, those little figurines. You know, $500 for that little piece of glass.
What about the husband?
Then you go, oh, look at that. Oh! But it's not restful for most people. Some people can enjoy that and rest. I'm not saying that's a blanket statement. I can't rest in that. Marcy and I were burning out. And we were edgy, we're angry, we're snapping at people, worried about things that we had no control over. And we won a vacation, okay? We didn't plan this. I literally sat down and says, Lord, I don't know what to do. You want me to take a rest, but I can't unplug. I can't disconnect. I can't do it. I don't know how. We won the trip that we just took. And it was weird because we had the option to stay in the States and go to Disney, or I think the other trip was to Vegas. Yeah, put a person that loves to watch people, a people watcher, in Vegas. I've been there. I can sit up 24 hours a day, all week long. That is hilarious. You shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be watching you do that. I should actually be stepping in, but it's hilarious to watch you do this. I can't unplug with that. So a third option, it wasn't in the drawing thing that when we signed up, was a cruise. And I'm thinking, oh cool, be over the water. That's great. I didn't realize that when I got on the ship, I would be totally disconnected. My phone was not going to work unless I wanted to pay astronomical surcharges for international calls. And they wanted like $100 a day to use the internet. Wasn't happening. So I was totally unplugged. Nobody could get a hold of me. And I couldn't get a hold of anyone else. I was forced to sit and rest. To be served by those on the ship. I did find out that it's 200 steps from the bottom floor to the top floor. Because I refused to take the elevator. Everyone else is like, no, I'm taking the elevator. I'm like, nope. I'm running up the steps. After about day 2, I'd get about 5 flights up and go, okay, this is dumb, but I'm not giving in. But for me, that was enjoyable. I could relax in that, knowing that I could walk wherever I wanted to go. Now, I'm supposed to get about 6,000 steps a day according to my little health app on my phone. And I know I was getting triple, quadruple that. Just walking around in a couple hours on that ship. But I was relaxed, I was resting. I was able to sit and watch the sunrise over the ocean and watch the sunset. And at that moment, when I was sitting with Marcy, we're watching the sunset, and I looked out over the water and I said to her, I said, you know what? I know everybody can see this. Everyone here can see this. But this moment right here was perfectly made for us. Everyone one else can see it, but this moment that we're sharing is our moment, given to us by God. And I found so much peace in that. So much joy in that. And I was able to just, everything that was on me, everything that I could feel struggling with, was just gone. We need to find rest. We need to take that opportunity and rest. Because those of us that say that we follow Christ, even He rested. He slept in the middle of a storm. When the rest of His disciples were panicking, how can you sleep through this? Jonah slept during the storm. We are told to rest. We need to start working towards that. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because think, in our lives now, even then, and I'm not saying it's more difficult now than it was then. So then, our livelihood would have been whatever we did. If we were tent makers, we made tents. If we did this, we did whatever we did. Now we have people above us saying, no, you can't have that day off. And I understand that. But you do have time that you can put aside and rest. You have to make that a priority. And that's what we don't do. We make it a priority to sit down and watch Super Bowl. Some of us. Some of us make it a priority to make sure we get to the club on time. Some of us make sure we make it a priority to do whatever. We need to make it a priority to rest. If we want to truly be followers of Jesus Christ, we need to make it a priority to rest. To soak in what God has given us. To look at the beauty. We sang Diamonds a couple minutes ago. We need to be able to look into the dirt of our lives and see the beauty that's within. And we can only see that through His eyes. And it's when we let Him speak to us. When we're in that time of rest. I want you guys to take a little challenge over the next week. Most of us aren't going to be able to commit an entire day this week to rest. Take 15 to 20 minutes. Take a half hour. And I'm not saying when you go get in bed, I'm going to give this 15. No. Because I've tried it. I thought, okay, I'm going to give God the next 45 minutes before I fall asleep. And I've been out in 5. Yeah, I fell asleep. I don't think I really rested in Christ. I think I was just exhausted. And because I was trying to focus on that, it put me to sleep. Find a place where you can kneel down or sit down and just spend some quality time with Him. Start small, because literally we have to train ourselves to do this. Paul tells us that we have to train our bodies both mentally and physically. This is one of those physical and mental trainings that we have to do, is taking time to rest. Take 15 minutes this week. Make it 20 minutes next week. Work yourself up to an hour, 2 hours, 6 hours. An entire day of rest. Some of us it'll come real easily. Some of us it's going to be really hard. But I realized coming back that I needed that more than I ever thought. I needed that unplugged time to spend with God. We all need that. So I challenge you today to spend time with Him this week. To find a couple minutes to give to Him. If you can do an hour, great. If you can only do 15, great. But spend time with Him. Find peace, find rest, and in that you'll find joy. You'll find joy, you'll find strength. One of the jokes that I shared with Marcy while we were out, I said, you know what? They've been dealing with worn out, tired George and Marcy for the last 2 years. What are they going to do when we come back with the same energy we had 4 years ago? What are they going to do when they... All right, I need a shield now. I can start throwing stuff at me. But what is our church? What is our community? What are people going to do when we come back rejuvenated, ready to go, ready to dive in and run? Now imagine our energy right now. We are fired up and ready to go. Imagine if each and every one of us had that same fire, that same energy. Because it is written to fan into flame the gifts of God, not let them fizzle out. And we as a church, we as a body, for years we've saw the spark and put it out. We're not allowed to have that spark. We need to just do the same thing that's done us for years. We need to have that spark. We need to have the rest and have the flame. We need to grow in Him, grow with Him. We need to be on fire for God. We can't let a little breeze put us out. We can't let a little wall cage us in. We've got to be on fire. The only way we can be on fire is when we rest and we rejuvenate in Him. Are you ready to grow? Are you ready to become a flame for God? If you are, your first step is to take a break and to rest. Ask Him to give you that rest. To hand over His yoke. Because that's the thing. That's the other part of that scripture. When we hand Him our yoke and pick up His. Yes, we still have stuff to do when we're done. After we found that rest. We still have what's on our plate. But when we take on His yoke, that stuff that's on the plate doesn't mean as much. It's not as stressful. Because we're looking at it through His eyes. Because usually what's on that plate is things that we want. Or things that we think we need. He knows what we need. We're placing importance on that plate instead of in Him. Go to Him. Find rest. Find peace. And when you pick up that load again, when you pick up that plate that's sitting there waiting for you, it's not going to be as heavy. It's not going to be as stressful because you know He has it. And unfortunately, we can't, that makes me think of this, we can't go to Samantha Stevens and go, hey, I need you to take care of this. We go to God and say, God, lead me in how to take care of this. Show me how to take care of it.
Get one of your who's over there.
Which one? PJ texting you?
No, the next one.
But it's little things like that. Having a cell phone going off in service stresses people out. I find it comical. I've had mine go off in the middle. So I've had my phone start ringing on it. No, someone's calling me. But it's what we do with the situations. If we're truly giving it over to God, if we're truly picking up His yoke, we can find the humor in things. I find the humor in what God gave the Israelites. And don't walk somebody's steps, don't do this. I find the humor and the sarcasm in that. Because He knows our human nature. Don't do this because I know you're going to do it anyway. But I'm going to give you explicit, don't do this. Just as an example of how not to do it. So take my challenge. Spend some time with him this week. Get to know him better. Like I said, it's an amazing feeling when we actually just unplug. Turn your cell phone off. That's one thing. Turn your cell phone off. Turn your TV, your laptop, any electronic, turn it off. Spend time with him. If there's an emergency, it'll be there when you turn it back on. Okay? It will be there. Talk to God. Rest with him. And let him lead you. Let's pray. Father, we come to you this morning, and as we're still having technical difficulties with our sound system, Lord, I ask you to give us clarity in our hearts to take those technical difficulties that we have, those distractions that we have that bring our attention away from you. I ask that you touch our hearts, that you lead us, that you guide us, that you give us a space that we can give you our time and we can take rest. Father, I ask you to help train us. Give us the strength to shut it all down, to walk away from the world for 5, 10, 20 minutes a day, to learn how to give you our time, how to rest and relax in you. And let us grow in that. Let us feel that strength to where we can turn around and be like, whoa, where did the last 12 hours go? I spent that 12 hours with you and it was amazing. Lord, I ask you to just continue to lead us and guide us in this. Give us strength. Most of all, Lord, let us find peace in you. Let us leave our stress behind. Yeah, the situations are going to be there, but let us pick it up without the stress. Let us work through it with you. So, Father, I come to you this morning and I just ask for your guidance, I ask for your peace, and most of all, I ask for rest for each and every one of us. And I ask this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.